of course, players of the Super Eagles who had teamwork earlier in the day, of course, to create a bond among them as they prepare for that important must-win game against Amavubi of Rwanda. Well, at the moment, I'm being joined by Oma Akatugba all the way from Germany, and of course, Imoh Asanga is also live with us here in Lagos. But let me begin with Oma Akatugba in Germany. Uma, is a must-win game between the Super Eagles and the Amavubi of Rwanda. How do you think that Eric Shell should approach this game?
Thank you for having me. I think that he should approach the game with all guns blazing because it's a win or burst for Nigeria. We don't want to go back to the calculators. We want to have our destiny in our hands. And I think that he should go all guns blazing. That said, coming to the critical element, I would suggest a two-man strike force, of course, spearheaded by Victor Osimhen of Galatasaray, perhaps supported by maybe a Victor Boniface, and of course on the flanks you have Moses Simon on one side, and then maybe a Samuel Chukwueze on the other hand. But generally, it goes beyond tactics. It's more about application, dedication, and the willingness to want to get 3 points, knowing fully that the Republic of Benin are sitting at top of the table with 8 points. South Africa play Lesotho. If they win, they will be, on 10 points, and that might spell doom for our chances of going to the World Cup. So I think that the approach will be all guns blazing, everyone going all out from the first blast of the whistle. I think that should be the best approach for this game. What the quality of players that we have, I think that we...
Well, Omar, just before you go to the question, the players that we have, you talked about the players we would like to see in terms of the lineup this evening. You talked about the combination of Victor Osimhen and Boniface, but Boniface hasn't been having quite a good time, playing for the national team.
That's a good point, and that could be a reason why he will want to prove a point, because he sees all of the criticisms, he touches him, or they get to him, and I think that he's determined to prove a lot of people wrong, and such a player can be very dangerous. We know that he's not scored, but you can see that anytime he gets the opportunity, he puts in his best. He's not been quite lucky with the Super Eagles, and perhaps tonight against Rwanda might just be the moment for Victor Boniface to shine. I think that as a manager, I would put a player like him on the pitch and say to him, the floor is yours. It's either you take it or you don't. And I think that would be an extra motivation for him to want to prove a point.
All right, Uma, I'll come back to you. Let me talk to Imoh Asanga now, who's live with us here in Lagos. Well, Imoh, it's an important game that the Super Eagles must win. Oma Akatugba, all the way from Germany, of course, is saying that, yes, the Super Eagles have to be all out against Rwanda in this game. Do you also, read from the same page with Oma, that the Super Eagles should be, fire from all cylinders?
Yes, thank you for having me today, Ike. Very thank you. So I just want to say this. The last time we met these Rwandans guys in Rio, Chukwueze scored in the 53rd, around 50-something minutes, and played through the second half, 72, 75th minutes. They got 2 goals within 2 minutes. The same Rwandan team in a dead rubber game we played in Rio. So we should not take this game for lightly. These guys, they can score goals. So we should concentrate very well. That defense should be very, very tight. Before I would suggest a 4-3-3 formation. The likes of Trustekon, Calvin Bassey, Alaino, Bruno Emichi, the midfield, Onyedika, Ndidi, Iwobi. Then in the forward line, I will disagree with Omar there. I'll put Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, and I'll put Moses Simon. That is what I want to see. Every other person can come in the second half. We don't want anybody to lose concentration in this game. It's a very important game. We thought we had done it in Rio. We thought that game we would win in Rio because they were winning. Those games, we were winning with a Guavon, but the Rwanda shocked them. They might have a shocker in their locker again. So this is a game they must be very, very cautious as they are going all out blazing. This is the key. you must take note. Thank you very much.
All right, we have played the Amavubis. I'm still with you, of course, the Imoh Asanga. We have played the Amavubis quite a number of times, 4 times now, 2006, 2013, and then sometime last September as well. It was all goalless. It was all goalless. What do you think that Eric Shell needs to tell the strikers to ensure that, yes, they get that goal, that important goal that they need to give them confidence, going into the latter stages of the game?
The striker just need to build confidence. They need this is an away game. It's not going to be easy. They just want to build that confidence and shoot on target. Every chance they have, they just need to shoot on target. The midfielders just need to concentrate, give the strikers the ball at the right time. There's no need to start dressing the ball. Get the ball, give it to the striker. Osimhen is there, Lukman is there. They can get the goals. You just need to concentrate and make sure they hit target. If they take 2 or 3 shots on goal, 1 or 2 of them should be able to get to the back of the net. That is what is needed in a key game like this. Because anything less than a win for the Super Eagles in this match, I tell you, going to the World Cup will be bye-bye.
Oma, does it concern you, as I mentioned earlier, Oma Akatugba, does it concern you that, as I mentioned earlier, we played in 2006 against them, in 2011, 2013, and of course last September as well, and the Super Eagles came up short, goalless, in all of the games. Does it concern you?
Absolutely. It concerns me and it concerns a lot of Nigerians. Gone are the days when Nigeria will be facing minnows, no disrespect, like Rwanda, and Nigerians will be worried. But we are in a situation now where even if we are playing against Eswatini, we don't have all the confidence in the world because recent results haven't really inspired much confidence. Rwanda is not a superpower in football. Again, no disrespect. When you look at the pedigree of Nigeria vis-a-vis that of Rwanda, you should expect a victory for Nigeria on paper. But the recent results, just like you highlighted, the last 6 games, Nigeria won 1, Rwanda won 1, we drew 4. It means that there is no difference between superpower Nigeria and underdogs Rwanda. So it concerns me a lot, especially with the fact that we've got quality footballers across every department on the field. That cannot be said of Rwanda, who don't have a lot of players playing at the highest level in Europe. Even domestically, Rwandan players are not playing for Al Ahly or Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa. They mostly play at home and some in small countries in Europe. But as a team, they've shown that they can hold their own against Nigeria, and that has given us a lot of worry. Let's also talk about the last game Nigeria played against Rwanda. Like Sanga mentioned, dead rubber. I think that differentiates that game from this one. That game, we had already qualified for the AFCON, but this one, our chances of going to the World Cup is hanging in the balance. So the approach, of course, will be different. If we get a goal ahead of Rwanda, I think that will make a lot of difference for the result. And thank you again, Sanga, for mentioning Ademola Lookman. That eluded me when I was talking about those who should form the attack line for Nigeria. But above all, it's about dedication and application much more than who is playing, because every player invited has got what it takes to deliver the goods.
Well, Omar, the table as we have at the moment, Benin Republic, of course, are leading. You have Rwanda in second, South Africa are third, then you have Lesotho, and of course, that's the table you have on your screen, and Nigeria are occupying a lowly 5th position. On paper, the Super Eagles, I mean, quality all over the place. You can't say that of Rwanda. How do we ensure that, yes, the quality that we have on paper, it's translated onto the pitch?
That's a very good question. I think now it's a case of the players knowing that it's time to bring their experience, their exposure, and their quality to the fore. At every level of national team football across the world, big players make the difference. We've seen what Brahim Diaz has done for Morocco. He was the top scorer for the AFCON qualifiers. We've seen what Sehu Girase, even though Guinea didn't qualify for the AFCON, he contributed his bid, becoming the second top scorer in the qualifiers. That is what I ask of Osimhen today, who scored a hat-trick against Antalya in the Turkish league. That is what I ask of Ademola Lookman today, who is the African Footballer of the Year. That is what I ask of William Trust Ekong, of Alex Iwobi, of Moses Simon. These are players who are making the difference at their clubs. All of that must be brought to the fore tonight, because whether you like it or not, there is nothing that Eric Chell can tell the players that will bring out the best in them than when they say to themselves, I am Victor Osimhen. It's time to prove that I am one of the best strikers in the world. This will be his first World Cup qualifier for Nigeria. That may count for something. Victor Osimhen always makes the difference. I hope he does tonight.
Imoh, the two coaches, of course, is a new turf for the two of them. Amaruche was contracted, I think about 3 weeks ago or thereabout, the Algerian, by the Rwandan FA. And then Eric Shell also a new turf, for him. When new coaches come, sometimes you see the impact, the immediate impact that they have on the teams that they manage. Are we likely to see that on the part of Super Eagles?
Yes, of course, we are likely to see that. So anytime we have a new coach, we want to see the impact, we want to see the bounce, we want to see the ginger from the boys. So they are ready to give their best. I had Osimhen the other day. He said he's ready to give his best in this game. So those boys, they will be ready to give their best. So as the Rwandans team, these Rwandans team, they have a new coach too. So they want to impress their coach. They want to impress their coach. They want to be in the first 11. So it's going to be a game of psychology. It's going to be a game of who scores first. It's going to be a game of taking note of details. Who is going to make less mistakes? This is going to be a game of how the ball is going to be handled in the midfield. Who is going to control the midfield? Who is controlling? Who is spraying passes? Who is maintaining the ball more? So it's a game of psychology. Both coaches will study themselves in the first 15 minutes. Before you know it, every one of them will just need the first goal. The Rwandan team will want to score the first goal. The Nigerian team will need to score the first goal. So anybody that scores the first goal might want to push the momentum in this game, because this game is as serious as it could be.
Oma, we hear that some fans traveled all the way from Galatasaray to, of course, give their support to Victor Osimhen. How do you think this will, of course, help Osimhen and the rest of the team as well? It's a good thing to hear.
Extra motivation for the Galatasaray striker. He's very much in love with how he has been treated in Galatasaray, and he's paying them back with goals. 30 goals contribution in 32 games, absolutely humongous. And traveling all the way to Rwanda means a lot for him. But beyond that, the World Cup ticket means much more to him, because if Nigeria fails to qualify for this World Cup, Victor Osimhen might never play at the World Cup, and that will be a big minus for him and his very, very beautiful football career. So I think that's a good motivation for him. Videos are being spread around social media, and perhaps extra support from Turkey for Nigeria, maybe that could count for something.
All right. Let me go back to Imoh now. Let's also look at the Rwandan side. Do you think, when you look at the players that they have at the moment, in terms of quality, you cannot say they are at par with the Nigerian side. But their captain has been talking tough. That look, we are ready to give everything, to ensure that we get a victory against the Super Eagles.
Yes, they'll be motivated, because we met the last time in that dead rubber game, and they got 2 quick goals in less than 3 minutes. So they are motivated. I heard the captain saying they are not worried about the Super Eagles. That football is a team sport. So it's about unity, it's about the togetherness of the team. So they are coming here with that confidence that if we could beat the Super Eagles the last time in Uyo, we could still do it again. So that confidence is there. So they are coming with that mindset that we could cause an upset. We could still do the same thing. So that is why the Super Eagles should not just come here and take it lightly, which I know they won't. So the Rwandan teams, They are ready for the Super Eagles. They want to make a point. They want to prove to the Super Eagles that forget the African footballer of the year, forget the likes of Victor Osimhen. Football is a team sport. It's about 11 games. It's about 11 team, 11 players doing the same thing on the pitch of play. So it's about who gets the goal and who does it better on the day. So it's just about any team that wants it better, wants it more. That's the team that will win this game. And I hope it's the Super Eagles. I hope it's the Super Eagles.
All right, Oma, let me have your final thoughts on the game this evening. Of course, I will also ask you the same question as well, Imoh. Imoh, tell us, what's your final thought on the game, and who do you think will come up on tops?
I think that the Super Eagles will win this time. You see, there are teams that become more like an albatross to big teams in football, at club level, at national team level, like we've seen in recent times in Germany with Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich going 5 games unbeaten against Bayern Munich. And then suddenly in the Champions League, all that was broken. Bayern scored 5 goals in 2 games. There comes a time where the big boys will say, it's time to really show the stuff that we're made of. I think that time will be today for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I get the feeling that the Super Eagles will win by 2 goals to nothing.
All right, Imoh.
1-0. The Super Eagles 1-0. 1-0. That's what I see. 1-0. Going to be a close game.
All right, then. Well, whether 2-0 or 1-0, a win is a win. I must thank the both of you, Oma Akatugba, all the way from Germany. Thank you very kindly for talking to us. Imoh Asanga, thank you also for talking to us on the program.
Thank you so much, Ike.